This is Jonathan Norman from the Major Projects Knowledge Hub, and I've just interviewed Tim Lucas about the topic of design for manufacturing and assembly. As you'll hear, the interview was outside and we were serenaded by a robin redbreast throughout. So Tim, when I described design for manufacturing and assembly, I used the analogy of the car manufacturing industry, which I gather is a rather flawed analogy when we're talking about construction. And I wondered if you wanted to just say a few words about that.
Cars are, of course, fairly standardized products and they're mass produced, and buildings are very much bespoke and they're individual to each site and each use that they fulfill. So, but what we find with the stuff that goes into buildings is it's often made in a mass-produced way. So, steel beams, for example, are rolled in long lengths, which are all the same. They're not necessarily optimized for their use in the building. So, what we can do with design for manufacture and assembly, not just on steel beams but on all sorts of building components, is we can make them much more optimized and much more suitable for their specific task. And we can do that by basically creating something that would be a standardized product and making a bespoke object. We use partial automation of both the design and the manufacturing and production to do this. So the design automation revolves around setting a strategic direction and then using scripted models to help produce large volumes of data that is then passed to production machines, and those may be robots or CNC cutters, for example, and those can produce very bespoke objects that can then go into a building and be much more fitting for their purpose and use fewer materials, be lighter, use less energy, be more efficient. So by combining digital manufacturing with digital design and partial automation of both, we get to a point where we can produce objects that are far more bespoke, but we can do that in an economical way, both in terms of design time and production and construction time.
Tim Lucas will be providing a guided tour of the UCL Bartlett Here East facility at the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park on Friday the 4th of May. So please do sign up for that if you'd like to see what DFMA looks like in practice.